The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what Black women have to endure in this country, about what young Black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Caitlin Clark's rise and ascension into stardom.
Ryan Clark is like, yo, I gotta speak for my people, but then I gotta put some extra sauce on it because I do have a white baby mother we have a Black kid, and that may bring some angst in the home.
Can we keep it honest? So Ryan, just be honest and say you used to sleep with white women at one point in your life, and then you became an activist and you begin to prioritize Black women. Just tell the truth, brother. Because when people find out that you had a kid with a white woman and they listen to all the stuff that you say, you sound like a complete hypocrite. This video is brought to you by TatumStore.com, TatumStore.com. Make sure you shop for Memorial Day weekend sale. It's a 30% off, so you put Remember 30. The link is at the top, so if you forget, Remember 30, get 30% off store-wide. So we have our new shirts that are out, Back to Blue, this new one that I have on right now that was specifically designed by one of our guys. So you will never see this anywhere else but our site. We also have beach towels that are available right now. They just came in. And also, you can get Synergy from Tatum Store, 30% discount. I'm not discounting it on Synergy Store, but I will discount it here for the people that purchase on this store. So you can get Synergy at 30% off if you put in Remember 30 all the way through Tuesday. So make sure you shop now to get your merch because the sale will not last long. All right? Like and subscribe to the channel. Ryan Clark and his biracial child. Now, I'm not making this video to bash Ryan Clark. I'm really not. I'm pointing out the hypocrisy from Ryan Clark. Now, I made a video about Ryan Clark on my Instagram account. Ryan Clark responded to it. And in Ryan Clark's response to it, he said, no, I talk about this all the time, meaning that he speaks about the fact that he has a biracial child all the time. Now, I have never heard Ryan Clark speak about his biracial children. Now, I don't watch Ryan Clark every day. So I could be incorrect in saying that he never speaks about the white woman he got pregnant and had a baby with 18, 20, 25 years ago. I don't know how old this girl is now. So what I will say is my criticism of Ryan Clark is when you're going after RG3, when you're on there crying about Black women, and they the greatest and they the best and that people should, then you need to also have the wherewithal to acknowledge more consistently that you actually used to hit white women back in college. I guarantee you, I'll put my life on it. Ryan Clark had sex with probably about 5 or 10 white women before he got this one pregnant. Don't ask me how I know that. If you are finding yourself in the bed with a white woman in college, which I'm pretty sure that's what he did, ain't the first white woman you've been with. Can we keep it honest? So Ryan, just be honest and say you used to sleep with white women at one point in your life and then you became an activist and you begin to prioritize Black women. Just tell the truth, brother.
I'm wondering if Ryan Clark, because he has this extra baby with a white woman, if there's a certain level of feedback he gets in his home, and that's why he has to put on his Superman cape if any Black woman gets criticized.
Let me say this, just to start it all off, none of us should speak for all of us. And I think in this world right now, because everyone wants representation, that's the slippery slope where all of a sudden you find yourself in a place thinking, oh, I have the microphone, I have the platform, so I'm going to speak for all those who are not heard. And that's disingenuous, and that is actually damaging. Now, I think Ryan Clark is at home, and as he speculated on what RG3 is doing at home with his white wife, let's speculate about what he's doing at home with his Black wife. I think that knowing how my wife is and the arguments we have at times where we disagree, and my best example is Black Lives Matter when it first hit. I guess that's 2020. And when it first hit, you're going down the street and you just see these large groups and gatherings, right? And they're telling you to honk in support, et cetera. And I remember we were still working together, right? So I'm going down the street and my wife, we're at a red light and she hits me. And I'm like, what's up? And I'm looking at the gathering like she is. She says, honk. I was like, honk? Honk for what? And she said, honk for the Black Lives Matter. I was like, why? I'm already black and I know my life matters. Why I got to honk? I don't know what they are representing. I know what they're saying, but I don't know what they're representing. So let me do some homework and research before I start honking. But a lot of times you get pulled into, this is where Ryan Clark may be. You get pulled into that guilt of you have platform, you have a microphone, you have resources, you have made it. You are an outlier, whatever that may sound like. And Ryan Clark is like, yo, I got to speak for my people, but then I got to put some extra sauce on it because I do have a white baby mother we have a black kid, and that may bring some angst in the home.
Because when people find out that you had a kid with a white woman and they listen to all the stuff that you say, you sound like a complete hypocrite. I would argue this: there's nothing wrong with dating people outside of your race. Race is a social construct. It absolutely means nothing. And if you wasn't so high on your activism, race hustling hoax, then you wouldn't even, this never would be a problem. Beautiful young girl, probably growing up, I saw her in something with a miniskirt on. So I don't know. Ryan probably need to talk to her a little bit more. Beautiful young girl. She is no less of a daughter to you or a child as the one you had with black people. That's the way it should be. And are you going to tell her that she can't address black issues because her mama white? She's in a household talking to her mama about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, but she can't talk to her mama because her mama white. And let me just tell you this too, for all you people out there that want to know, you are perpetuating white supremacy. If you call your biracial or mixed race children black, you are perpetuating and pushing white supremacy. I just want you to know that. I want you to embody that. So all you suckers out here that got kids and you like, my kid's black, my kid's black, my kid. No, your kids are not black. They're biracial. They're just as much black as they are white. They got this side and got that side. You can't erase it because you don't like it. You can't erase it because you're trying to be an activist today. And let me just say this too. Me and my wife talk about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark whenever the subject comes up. Me and my wife talked about Shadur Sanders when the subject come up. My wife is not exempt from having common sense because she has lighter melanin in her skin. It's called a person with common sense. My wife has been around sports, believe it or not, before me, she dated a guy who played sports. And one guy she dated was a Hall of Famer. So I think she know a little bit about football. So she can have a functional conversation because she has had conversations before about these particular topics. And so quit trying to act like white people can't address anything black because they're not black. Yet y'all address everything white and you ain't got a white person in your household. I just want to throw that out there. So Ryan Clark, you need to change your ways, buddy. You need to change your ways. All right, roll the other clip. Is this Ryan Clark's post statement? Oh, and this is from what year? Oh, okay. He posted 2 days ago, right? Don't you find that interesting that he posted this 2 days ago? And you know why he posted this 2 days ago? It's because Marcellus Wiley called him out for having for having a daughter with a white woman. And then that he want to post this out like he's going to make a statement for his kids. Let me read it real quick. I don't know. I didn't know that this was news, but since other people wanted to talk about her, this is my firstborn, Jaden. My God, she's beautiful. All of her. I ain't going to say nothing about nobody's daughters. Okay. I fell in love with her the first time that I saw her. I loved her every day since. We grew up together. We cried together, laughed, fought. She is all mine, and I've always been so proud to be her father. Maybe the news is in light of this week is that she's biracial. So, that's what he says. She is a perfect part of my God-given experience. The sum of all those, experiences make me who I am. Okay, hold on. Now, don't mind my reading because it's the first time I saw this and I can't read that good. But, okay, have that same energy when you're talking about RG3. Have that same energy. Have the same energy. Roll the clip.
We moved in to being able to read the expressions of a person and know their intent, know their character, know their perspective. But he does understand hate because I think he also understands the hate of self. When you look at the play, which is all we can speak to as professionals, all we can speak to as analysts. Angel Reese pushed one of her teammates. Caitlin Clark had a hard foul, which is part of basketball. I feel like it was assessed correctly. And Angel Reese's reaction is the sort of reaction you get in a situation when you feel like you took an intentionally hard foul. That's competitiveness.
No,
that's rivalry. That's
time out. Y'all remember, we don't have it on here. Nick probably could do it in post-production. Y'all remember when Angel Reese hit her with a Louisville slugger? You know, she came over the top, right on top of Caitlin Clark's head. I mean, flagrant, like she tried to knock her head off. Now, I haven't watched the clip in a long time. Show me Caitlin Clark reacting like Angel Reese. Angel Reese did a LeBron James flop, because all the girl did was kind of swipe at the ball, and Angel Reese get the flopping up with her goofy self. And now she want to fight the girl. It ain't that she got in the face and then moved on. She want to fight her. They got to hold her back. Hold me back. You mother. It's like she went extra crazy. Caitlin Clark walked away. This is why RG3 is looking at this and saying, she hate Caitlin Clark. It's not a competitive advantage. She hate her. And it's fine for him to have that analytic perspective. But Ryan, you may have a different one. But how do you add his wife into this? Roll the clip.
Not hate. And so now, though, when RG3 jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train, it now follows along with what we saw from Keith Olbermann, what we saw from Dave Portnoy, as they poured on to Angel Reese to make her the villain in Caitlin Clark's heroic or hero story. The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what Black women have to endure in this country, about what young Black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Caitlin Clark's rise and ascension into stardom. No, when you look at it, I think
how do you know what conversations that RG3 is having in his house? You just said RG3 can't assume what's in the mind of Angel Reese, but you are assuming that he don't have any Black people in his house. Last time I checked, his daughters are Black, according to y'all fools. His daughters are Black. RG3 has daughters with that white woman. So his daughters are Black, according to these guys. So he do have Black girls and Black women in his house. Ryan Clark, he wrote a message on my Instagram post trying to defend this. You can't defend it, bruh. You totally just said he ain't talking to nothing about Black in his house. And he got daughters. And I bet he can talk to his mom on the phone. He don't know no Black people. He don't have no Black friends. He ain't got no Black sisters. He got nobody Black in his life because he married a white woman. What are you saying, Ryan? Roll the clip.
A'ja Wilson is the face of the league. A'ja Wilson is the best player in the league.
No, she's not.
Caitlin Clark is the most important player in the WNBA. And a ton of her fandom has come along with some racial bias or some racial pieces to why people love her so much. And so now, if you're RG3, when is the last time with this?
He said that Caitlin Clark's fandom came from a racial component there. Why are you okay with saying her fame came from a racial component and not Angel Reese's fame came from a racial component? Because if you're saying that white people are celebrating this woman, then Black people must be celebrating like you are, simping for Angel Reese. But they can't be balanced in the things that they're saying. Now he's finna go into RG3's wife. Roll the clip.
In your household, you've had a conversation about what she's dealing with. You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women. You haven't had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what Black women deal with, what they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece, his wife is in the back amening and clapping. And so to me, it's just another situation that now this young lady has to deal with. When I worked with RG3.
I'm gonna play it again. He's finna get even crazier with RG3. But listen to what he said. His wife is amening him because as a Black man, he should be able to articulate, if you want to believe the race thing, as a Black athlete. RG3, I think, won the Heisman Trophy. RG3 was a prolific football player at Baylor. RG3 was a prolific, I think he ran the hurdles. He was a track star and a prolific football player, got probably drafted in the first round. RG3 is a baller, bro. He got hurt a couple times. That's the only reason why his career didn't last as long as it could. He knows sports. He don't need to converse with his wife about black women. Because let me tell you how stupid this is. I guarantee you, Nick, look this up for me real quick. I guarantee you guys, I don't even know this to be true. I put my life on it, almost, that RG3's wife was an athlete. Let's look it up. RG3's wife, was she an athlete? I think they met, I think I know this. I think they met at college or something. Is his wife an athlete? Guarantee she was an athlete. What sport she play? Track. His wife is a track and field athlete. So why wouldn't it be? Now, is Ryan Clark's wife an athlete? I like to believe that she probably is. Who? Which one? Who? Ryan Clark? Who? No. RG3's wife is a heptathlon, a heptathlete, or whatever you call it. Yeah. That means she do like 4 sports or something like that, 4 events or something. What is Ryan Clark's wife an athlete? Now, I don't know if she is or isn't, but let me see if I got a point here. Because I think it's better that if you're an athlete and your wife is an athlete and you're talking about athletic stuff, that's just as valid. You don't have to be black to know what a female athlete is doing. You don't have to be black to look at the television and say, God dang, Angel Reese want to swing on her. You don't have to be white or black to say, Angel Reese just missed a layup and Caitlin Clark put 30 on him. You ain't got to be black to do that. But the funny thing is that Ryan Clark don't have to be white to talk about white people. His wife wasn't even an athlete, right? From the research that I'm seeing, Ryan Clark's wife wasn't even an athlete. Now, make this make sense to me. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll correct it later, but we researching it right now and we don't see that she was an athlete. Tell me how this makes sense, Ryan Clark. You are claiming that RG3, a Heisman Trophy winner, isn't capable of having a conversation about female sports when his wife is a heptathlon or whatever you call it, heptathlete. That means she athletic. She ran track and did a whole bunch of events. So he can't talk about it, but you at home with a black woman that ain't play sports. So how are you talking to her and she about sports like she know just because she black? I believe a person who plays sports understands sports better than a person who's just black. God, you can't make this up. Keep going, bro.
He would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media the color of his wife's skin, as if the color of her skin is what makes her special, as if the color of her skin is what makes her a good wife. I've met the lady, I've had a conversation with her. Right. I think she's more than that. But it also leads to what black women deal with a lot from black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop up the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over black women by denigrating black women. I feel like we should have an opportunity to move past that and understand that Angel Reese can be great in her own right, as Caitlin Clark is as well. Caitlin Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the black women that have come before her. And now she is carrying the mantle forward. So there's no need to pin those two against each other and paint them based on stereotypical tropes. And I think this is what I'd like RG3 to know, that no matter how much he continues to echo the microaggressions of racists, he'll be no less black than me.
Hold up.
Ryan Clark should be ashamed of himself. That's all I got to say. I'm going to finish with that. He should be ashamed of himself. What are you even talking about, bro? You know, this is what it is passive-aggressive shaming of a black man with a white woman. Now, in none of this did Ryan Clark mention that he had a baby with a white woman. At not one time in this conversation that I've seen that Ryan Clark said, hey, when I was with my baby mama, we couldn't talk about sports because what were you doing when you were with your baby mama? Were y'all talking about sports? When you with that white lady, y'all talking about sports? Let me give you an example. Let me tell y'all this. I can put my life on this one too. Keep going. I want to stop at the picture where it looked like that girl with her mama. I think it's this one. Keep going. It's one that looked like she in a picture with her mama right here. Stop on this one. Now, I think one of these women is her mama. I'm assuming, right? Because these all white women, and this is it'd be a random picture if not one of them is her mom. I don't know which woman it is though. I think it's the one closest to her, if I had to guess, right? The one that's kind of hugging her. Now, my wife dated a guy who actually played on the same team as Ryan Clark at one point. He was on the bench and he was a practice squad player, but he was on the team. This fool, and my wife used to tell me that he was like just like Ryan Clark, that His mom and them didn't really want her around because she was white. He always making excuses about white people and racism and all this other stuff. My wife was just burnt out with him. And then when she got with me, obviously she was with a real man that have common sense. This fool one day sent me a message and was like, bro, you need to do better, like with my politics. I don't know who he thought I was. I don't know what he's thinking. I said, so let's debate. And at first I didn't know who he was because I don't know the guy that well. I didn't know who he was. And then I looked, I said, that guy kind of looked like the guy that my wife told me she dated. Then I asked her and they put two and two together and I'm like, that's this guy. I said, let's debate, bro. What you want to talk about? You told me I need to do better because I'm off somehow. So I want to talk about what you talking about. Let's do it, right? So we get to the little thing. This fool gonna message me back. Man, God got me in the season. Don't blame God on that, bro, because I will eat you alive on a debate. You know you're not researching nothing. You're not talking about nothing. You ain't thought about nothing. You just talking trash because the connection was not just that my wife dated him, but the connection was I played football with one of his teammates too at the University of Arizona. And that guy called me an Uncle Tom Oreo cookie or something stupid he said. But anyway, that's a whole convoluted story. But Ryan Clark's baby mama probably will attest. Put it on the screen again. Ryan Clark's baby mama probably would attest to the same sentiment that when he was in college and he was a certain way, and then all of a sudden he became blackity black and became an activist. And he probably to this day preach and talk about all the stupid, fake racist stuff that go on in the world when he used to not even be like that. I bet you if I interviewed his baby mama, she'd say, yeah, Ryan wasn't even really into that until he got to this point. Just like Colin Kaepernick and just like these other black people who are successful that overcompensate and trying to be pro-black all of a sudden. You never see Fred Taylor on there, who was a tremendous Hall of Fame, I think he was a Hall of Fame running back. Fred Taylor and then Crowder on there. You never see them really talking like that. It's Ryan Clark. Anyway, I love you guys.